it's me Katie, welcome back to the Spotlight. I know groundbreaking stuff today. We are going to be discussing trends because apparently you are revoked as a fashion channel unless you talk about it these days, so here we are. Seemingly everyone wants to claim that they are some sort of trend forecaster on TikTok, but no, these are not predictions, much like a lot of them. These are just observations. I guess you could say you're predicting these current trends will continue to trend this year, but that's about it. I just have a long list in front of me filled with trends that are either being reported on or ones that I've been noticing pop up on social media a ton recently, and some of which I very much enjoy and will be partaking in. Others not so much aligning with my personal style, but I will be admiring from afar and leave them for those of you they resonate better with. I want to just jump right in there with a somewhat polarizing one from what I've been seeing, and that is the micro shorts, or in some instances literally just underpants slash boxers, as regular everyday wear. Obviously everyone went wild over the image of Bella Hadid with the platform Uggs, and initially everyone was really latching on to the footwear choice, but I feel like as time goes on, people are really starting to get on board with the underpants situation as well. This is the sort of thing that is always going to be either loved or hated. I remember a tiny Jewish girl styling her, I think it's Marc Jacobs micro mini shorts, probably like 2 years ago now, and even then there was such a big discourse on it. I think the way they're being consumed in a more mainstream sort of way, I guess, is to pair them with quite an opaque tie underneath. Having that much skin exposed isn't going to be the most comfortable thing for everyone, so I think the tights coming in strong with the assist here is definitely going to make it somewhat more wearable. Of course, tights aren't just restricted to this particular trend. Tights in general we've been seeing a lot of. I would go as far as to say since 2020, especially kicking off in 2021, which just goes to show, as much as there is a dialogue on the trend cycles moving too fast, really a lot of trends are sticking around longer than you may think. And I know some people are going to be like, tights aren't a trend, which yes, true, the weather gets cooler, people break out their tights, but you can't deny that we've been seeing more and more people experiment with more playful tights, whether it is patterns, bold colors, or even just the type of outfit you're pairing them with. As a serial over accessorizer, I love this one. I do still somewhat agree with the notion that everything is trending at once. On one hand, we just talked about a micro length, but also maxis are still going strong. Obviously in skirt form, we have been seeing for quite some time now, but also I'm seeing a lot of maxi length coats at the moment, and actually quite often seen paired with the micro shorts to kind of counterbalance that. Me personally, not seeing it around here. As I'm filming, it is currently 31 degrees Celsius. But with that being said, I am actually going on a cold weather trip very soon. Let me know if you have any guesses. So I am gonna have to up my outerwear game. When it comes to footwear trends, we are still seeing a lot of the ballet flats. Obviously ballet core is still finding ways to reinvent itself and stick around. But also as we kind of start to shift into a different segment of 2000s trends, I guess, like moving more so away from the Y2K flashy styles and something a little bit more reserved, we're seeing the return of the really pointed toe heels, most commonly in the form of a kitten heel, but also boots. If you know me, you probably already guessed this is one of the trends I'm going to be sitting out on. When it comes to footwear, I like them chunky. Honestly, the last time that I wore a ballet flat was probably when I was still working retail at Priceline and I had a uniform. As soon as I switched to a fashion retail job, I broke out the platforms and have never looked back. But I can't deny how good this can look, especially with like the mid-2000s corporate fashion girly sort of aesthetic. I don't know. One that I clearly am partaking in because I'm literally wearing it right now are 3D flowers. Personally, I like them best in the form of accessories. I think they're so cute, embellishing a little necktie. You could wear it as just a pendant necklace as well, similar to the 3D hearts that have been trending. You may have spotted in my last video the oversized flower scrunchie my mum made me, inspired by Sandy Liang. She is kind of like at the forefront of this trend, I feel like. If it wasn't already evident by my appearance today, I so badly wish I was one of those cool, effortless Sandy Liang girlies. I love it when there's a trend that gets me to try new things, but also utilize things that I've had in my wardrobe forever. This belt I have literally had, I think, since I was in grade 7 or grade 8. So I've hung onto this for a very long time, and I think for good reason. Also, just along the same lines as that, I feel like there's a lot of very feminine sort of trends this season, which personally I love. Again, just aligns really well with my personal style. Some of the more major ones are Ruffles, which is such a vague trend, but that's cool because people get to incorporate it in different ways. However, if you're like pinning it down to the more micro trend version, I think we're going to see a lot of these dresses with these kind of like, I don't know, these like frilly octopus sort of tentacles going on, which I guess ties into mermaid core as well. I'm not going to be talking about like popular core aesthetics because I want to save that for a separate video, but yes, this is very much falling into that. I swear just about every single TikTok talking about trends has mentioned sheer fabrics, specifically lace, which I do find interesting because to me lace is just timeless. I would wear that whenever without a second thought. So I guess maybe the idea is just that it's going to be even more popular than its usual baseline, which is still popular, if that makes sense. But I don't know, I feel like even if it's not specifically sheer and lace, but the overlining theme of like underwear as outerwear has literally been on trend reports for the last decade. When I first was really getting into fashion in 2013, during that real 90s revival, and they were referencing lace and slip dresses, and I've stuck with fashion ever since then, and honestly I don't think I've ever seen it go out, which is great because it means we can rewear what we've already got. Another one that kind of falls under that category of everyone's talking about it right now, but I feel like it is literally permanently in the trend report, is metallic slash silver, which I find kind of funny because unlike lace, where I feel like I always gravitate towards it, metallics I'm always kind of like, ugh, that again, like, I don't know, it's not the most inspiring thing to me personally. Do I partake in it? Yes, I dabble in it here and there. I think personally I prefer it in the kind of like Y2K cyber retro future sort of element, which perhaps is how we're going to be seeing it styled most commonly this year. But I don't know, I feel like a lot of the time it's reported to be trendy just before the holiday season, so Christmas and New Year's Eve party dresses, and people will wear it once and then I'm seeing it in the op shop and I'm just like, not that into it. Something that I am really excited to see more of though is a lot of DIY and personalizing items, specifically bags. Please forgive me because I'm very much not a designer bag person, but I believe it was a Balenciaga bag of some sort. You guys know the one because literally every store did some form of dupe of it, but the main thing was like the heart mirror hanging off it. I don't know, I feel like people just became obsessed with things dangling off their bag, but I think it's even cooler to be able to do it yourself and really put your own personal touch on it. I feel like I always say this, but for me, accessories can really be the defining point of your personal style because it's the sort of thing that you can put on with every single outfit and then people are like, ah, yes, that is a Katie look. So going to the effort to even decorate and personalize your bag is like the extra step on top of that. It's very much giving it girl, very Jane Birkin. And decorating in general, I find somewhat therapeutic. I recently decorated my headphones, but even just doing my K-pop photo cards. I didn't actually have this one written down because I haven't seen as many people talking about it, but maybe it's because it's just like a no-brainer, but skinny scarves, I feel like that is just the natural cycle progression since ties have been so popular the last couple of years. I proudly already had my participation award from last time this trend rolled around and I am still here loving it. This one I was kind of like, ugh, will I mention it or not? But it is lots of pockets, which to me is kind of just cargos repackaged to try and get you to buy something new, but no, you can still just wear the cargos if you think they're cute. Keep rocking them. And technically, yes, this is probably another one where cargos was kind of the base trend and then the natural progression is just seeing pockets in new reimagined ways. As much as I liked cargos, maybe I'll leave that for the girlies who have like the post-apocalyptic sort of style, but for me, I might be sitting it out. Well, this one surprisingly caught me kind of off guard. I don't really know why because again, it's one that's more of a natural progression. We've been seeing a lot of knitting and crocheting ever since the first wave of lockdown and people picked it up as a hobby. But once I saw someone mention mohair specifically, I was like, oh, I mean, I've always been into it, but now that you mention it, I feel like I have seen it more frequently recently, I guess just adding even more texture to the look. I actually even made a purchase before I even registered that this was a trend, so I feel like I was subconsciously being influenced, which it kind of scares me in a way. I think we can probably combine these under the term of like angles. I don't know, we're seeing a lot of asymmetry and also a lot of off the shoulder. I'm death the kid's worst nightmare. I love me some asymmetry. It can just instantly add so much more interest to your look and it's so easy to recreate as well. Like literally not even a permanent DIY. You can just put on a skirt, kind of gather it up on one side, pin it in place and you are good to go. And again, these really broad, vague trends are my favorite because it's just fun to see what people will come up with. If you're someone who finds yourself enjoying the idea of trends but might be a little bit worried that you're gonna partake in a micro trend, I feel like the rule of thumb is just the broader the trend, the better. Which I mean is probably obvious, but I don't know, maybe a good reminder. Off the shoulder is another one we're seeing, which again is one that was, I feel like, popular the last time around. Skinny scarves were in trend as well, so I could see them being paired together quite commonly. I'm always kind of 50-50 on it though, just because I feel like I have broad shoulders, but also like I roll in and slouch a lot. I have such bad posture, so I just don't know if it's the most, I don't want to say flattering, I'm trying to not use that word anymore, but I don't know if I feel good in it, I guess. A top I have that kind of gets around that though is one that is off the shoulder but also has this little halter tie-up detail which kind of cuts it off, which I really like. But otherwise I think I just prefer pieces that slouch off one shoulder rather than both, which I think is kind of trendy as well. There's still so many trends I haven't covered. Like we mentioned, everything's trendy, so how are you going to squeeze it all into one video? Plus some of them just feel a little bit repetitive, like I've been talking about them for a long time. For example, skirt over pants. But let me know if you want part 2. I am already planning on doing another video where I'm actually styling my favorite trends, and also, like I mentioned, trying the trendy aesthetics of the moment. One that I really want some help with though is what trends you want to see make a comeback. So let me know in the comments and hopefully I can feature them next time around. Thank you guys so much for watching, and just quickly before we go, I want to say take all of this with a grain of salt. Trendy, not trendy, who cares? Wear whatever you want, and hopefully I'll see you really, really soon. Bye!